Right, we're just gonna do the famous samosas, not in a big quantity, just in a small one. I'm gonna show you how it's done. We've boiled some spuds in a deep pan and then took the skin off after boiling them. And as you can see, they're really soft. And we're just dicing them up. And they're just going in here in very small pieces. There's about how many potatoes did we use? Oh, a good bag full. Yeah, like 5 kilos or something. We're probably going to make what, 30 or 40 samosas maybe. We'll see. So basically, first thing, potatoes, boil, peel, and dice up. Very small. They're going to sort of mashed potato consistency by the time they're mixed in. With the potatoes, we have traditionally peas. So we're going to put some peas into this mix, and what we do is a bit of oil in the pan, and in the oil I've put 2 teaspoons of cumin seeds and 2 spoons of salt, and we're just going to fry that off and add the peas. We've got 2 kilos of spuds, all diced and chopped after being boiled and peeled, so they're soft. We've got the cumin and the salt in the oil frying away, and we're going to add the peas. We're going to add in half a kilo of peas, so 2 kilos of spuds, half a kilo of peas, and these are frozen peas, and we're going to fry these in, and they're frying away the peas. We want to cook these peas. They can't be hard, so we're going to give them a few minutes. I'm just checking, video calling my mum, just checking on some of the recipe for the old pastry, just to make sure we get it right, because that's a crucial bit. People do add carrots to this as well, so if you did add carrots to it, exactly the same. Boil them first, make sure they're cooked properly, and then chop them up into very small pieces, and you can mix them in with the potatoes. But we're keeping it simple, just a simple potato and peas with spices recipe, and hopefully they'll be as good as the ones we make on Samosa Saturday. These are done, so basically just squash on with your spoon and you'll see that they're done. So we switch the heat off, and then in go all the potatoes straight away. Throw all the potatoes in, and we're going to give this a good mix, and that basically makes your mix the filling for the samosas. So fairly simple. Spicy peas cooked in one pan, boiled spuds chopped and diced in the other. I'm going to mix that. I mean, if this was Samosa Saturday, we would be getting our hands in there, because there's just no way we'd mix it, because the pot we use is absolutely huge. It's like a hot tub, it's that big. You can see as you mix it in, it's basically turning it into mashed potato, and that's all it is in essence. Mashed potato with peas, and obviously the cumin, salt, masala, and chilli flakes we've used to give it a little bit of a spicy kick. So that is ready, basically, to put to one side, ready to fill the pastry. The crucial bit is the pastry. So for the pastry, we're using plain flour. There's 1.5 kilos of plain flour. That's gone in our big pot. Remember, this is going to make about 50 samosas. So we use vegetable oil, which is 1 cup of vegetable oil to 2 cups of boiling water. So that's the key. 1 cup of vegetable oil and 2 cups of boiling water as the wet for the dry. And we're going to knead this in to a dough. Just pour it in very slowly at a time, and just take it easy and just let it bind together. And you'll see when this dough actually mixes, it will have that oily consistency to it. At this point, I was supposed to have Mom on video call, but she's busy in India, locked down today, so she hasn't answered the phone yet, just to make sure we're getting this right. Right, we're just adding in the this oil and water mix bit by bit, and you basically have to get your hands in. And when you get your hands in, I mean properly, give it a good knead and bring it together. Yeah, my sister's got like the biggest muscles in her house, so it basically will build your forearms when you need this. Remember, we're doing quite a few samosas. These are going to all distribute these to some of our lucky neighbours, I think. If my son didn't eat them all, that is. So just give it a really good knead, get both hands in there, make sure your hands are washed obviously, and bring it together, and you can see it's all coming together. And there's only a little bit more oil and water to add in. And then use the old fist technique. So basically you fold it over and, as you see, make your hand into a fist and knead it together using your wrist. There you go. As you can see, it's all coming together, but it's got a slightly sticky, but not too wet. It can't be too wet, can't be too dry. It has to be just the correct consistency to make a proper pastry. A lot of people say, is it phyllo pastry you use? No, it's not phyllo. There's not layers of pastry. It's just one single layer that surrounds the samosa. And now we use this technique where just knead it with your fists, so both hands, and as you do, you just press it down and then fold it back over again itself. There you go, and then fold it over and knead in again. Filming this is much easier than kneading it, let me tell you that much. Out of the pan now, and we just put it on the work surface. Clean your work surface first, and then basically carry on with that technique of kneading it. We've got a little drop of oil left and water left in there, as you can see, and you just basically put it on your hands. So put it on your hands and carry on, and it will just absorb into the pastry as we go. So as we're kneading it, it takes a bit of time, this does, so spend time kneading it. It's a proper workout. You won't need no online videos today. You'll be doing all your workout on this dough, let me tell you. This is crucial. So when we make 1,000 of these, you imagine how much dough we're doing. This is going to make about 50, probably a bit more, 60 or 70, one pack of plain flour. I think it was turning out about 70 samosas, so this pastry is enough for 70 samosas. So you obviously probably won't make that many, or you might think, oh, what the hell, let's make them, because you can make them and freeze them and then bring them out and fry them from frozen if you want, but we're going to make these fresh. And carry on kneading, carry on using that oil, that last bit of oil on your hands, and kneading it into the dough. We've covered the pastry now with cling film, so we've kneaded it, spent a good 10 minutes kneading it, and we're going to leave that now for about 20 minutes as it is, and it will make it nice and soft. Pastry is the key to this. If it's wrong, then it just won't come out and fry the correct way. So we'll just be patient with that and let it do its thing for about 20 minutes. The dough has been sitting for about 20 minutes. It just makes it nice and soft and ready to go. So we're making, basically with the palms of our hands, making a ball, just slightly bigger than a golf ball size, and then into the plain flour, and we're going to roll that. And before we roll it, you make it into a disc. This is where the experience comes in of pastry making. This takes practice, trust me. When I do it, they turn out like the map of Australia. They don't really go very round. So you sort of start off the round shape in your hands and it's ready to roll. We've done one already, as you can see, absolutely perfect. I don't know how my sister is managing this, but here we go. As you can see, as she's rolling it out, she's turning the dough. So you're rolling and turning, and you're sort of by eye seeing if it's going into the correct shape, and eventually turns into a bit of a circle. Magic. And what size? That's the size of a small plate. It's going on our tawa. The tawa is a hot iron plate. Again, you can get these from Indian shops. I'm sure. So get yourself a tawa for your chapatis, your parathas, and to make your samosa pastry. And the reason we're cooking this, cooking it, is because it makes it easier to fill. If we use just the pastry on its own, it's going to be so tricky and sticky. It's just not going to be very easy to fill. So we partially cook it. Right, that goes on the tawa, as you can see, straight on, and it's probably just smaller than the tawa, the size of the actual pastry, and we're just basically part cooking it, and that's all we're doing. A couple of seconds on each one, and then just use a pizza roller. So use a pizza roller and cut in half by eye. You can get them your tape measure out if you want to be perfect, and there you go, you've got two halves. So those two halves we'll put in the tea towel there, and we'll keep them covered. So they are now ready to be filled, and we'll just keep them covered as we bring them off the tawa. So that's basically what we're doing, rolling out the dough, couple of seconds on each side, and then cutting them in half. I'll show you again. So you're taking the dough to fill your hand. So as you can see, to fill the palm of the hand, you use both hands to sort of make it into a nice round sort of ball. There you go. And then dip it into the plain flour. And now watch the technique. Just place it between your hand and your fingers, and use your thumb and the fingers on the other side, and you're basically working it around and turning the ball into a disc. So that's started you off to roll it out. If you start just from the ball, you'll end up everywhere, trust me. So that disc is the start of your circle. So when you do roll it out, you get a fairly good circular shape. The bigger you make it, the bigger your samosas will be. Pastries, what we do is once they're partly cooked and halved, we cover them. Otherwise you get a bit dry in the cool air. So we'll make a few, fill a few, and then we'll come back and make the rest. Looks like we've made a lot of pastry, so either we're going to eat samosas for a week, or we'll have very, very happy neighbours. Social distancing means you lot can't have any. Stage of the samosa production is the filling. So remember the mix? The mix is ready and it's been sitting there. We've got, in this pot, we've got some plain flour and some water, a very runny sort of mix. And what we do is we coat one half of an edge and fold over. There you go. Make a cone shape, and then just stick that edge down and just press it down. No need to crimp or anything. The flour will do the sticking for you. So basically you're using the flour and water, and then you fill the cone up. Fill it up, just a spoon and a little bit, that's all you need. Enough space at the top to seal it. Push the pastry down, and again, use your finger and just coat one half of the cone with the flour, watery flour mix, the paste, we'll call it the flour paste, and then just crimp it. No need to fold it over, no need to use a fork and make a funny pattern. That's all you do, and the flour will stick it together. That is one samosa ready to be fried, and they can be fried virtually straight away. Just let them sit for a little bit, just for the pastry to stick together, and then the production line starts. So when we do 3,000 of these, you know, that's what happens. 3,000 times they get filled. We have this whole room is full of people. We use how many bags of flour and potatoes and sacks of potatoes, and it takes a long time, but it's all worth it because it's for a good cause. Something we don't normally very regularly. It is more of an occasion food, weddings and festivals. It is Vaisakhi today. We're celebrating the birth of the Khalsa, the Brotherhood of Sikhs, 321 years ago. 10th Guru, Guru Gobind Singh, ordained our form and gave us courage and bravery to go out into the open world and face and help the needy and face the people who were stopping an oppressing society and stand up to them, gave courage. So that's what we're celebrating today, and we're making samosas, and the production has started. Your first 3 samosas are ready, and that's why the pastry is really important. If the pastry is not correct, if you don't partially cook it, if it's not round, this bit is going to be a little bit harder for you to do. Fill it up and just take the air out, and then just seal it with the flour paste. Put my phone down and just helped out in this. Just get your family to help you. Get your husband, lazy husband, off the couch. Get your kids, and get your hands in there, and you'll get used to it. It's quite tricky to start off with. Make the cone shape, seal it properly, and there we go. We've got what 15, 20 samosas there, ready to go. Pan, the deep fryer, it's full of very hot vegetable oil that's been in there quite a few minutes. Bring it to a nice hot temperature, and then we're going to place the samosas into that oil. And just place them in nice and slowly. And this pot will probably take about 5 or 6 samosas. You don't want to pack it out too much. You just place them in nicely and let them fry on either side. About 5 minutes in total it'll take, and they start frying straight away. Very important to get the oil hot. We don't want them to spend too much time in the oil. We just want them to cook. So these are made fresh pastry, freshly filled, and straight into the fryer. And you might see the pastry bubbling up a little bit. That's pretty normal. They are fresh. Usually these would sit around. So on Samosa Saturday we would fill and make these and fry them the next day. Obviously just hardens the pastry a little bit and it bubbles a little bit less. They just brown off very nicely. Start frying, and like I said, just 5 or 6 minutes. Just keep them turned over, make sure they're fried equally on both sides. Very important to get the oil hot. The best way to do it is chuck one samosa in and just see if it starts bubbling straight away, and if it's not, that means your oil's not hot enough. And there you have the humble little triangle, the samosa. Potato and pea filling spiced up with the pastry and served with ketchup. You can make chili sauce, you can make tamarind sauce, which is very popular to have with these. People even have it with like a mint yogurt, so, or you can have it with chickpea curry. So that is your samosa recipe. Have a go, see what you think, leave a comment, and share the video, and please subscribe if we can get 1,000 subscribers and start getting some views on this channel. Any money we make from the monetising of it will go to Dementia UK. Thank you.